Oh my God, I got an official Cam Newton mug.
Yeah.
Trying.
I'm the man.
Man.
We good? We ready?
Ready to rock and roll.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? Here with another episode of 4th and 1. And as we always say, Peggy, welcome to 4th and 1. Hey.
Look.
Here at the Super Bowl. And this one is a treat because we see now, or we understand now, what we saw and was inspired by. And this individual speaks to the person behind the person that sets the person up.
That's
right?
true.
Present to some, introduce to others, Mr. Lee Steinberg. Now, for those who say, who? Thought you would never ask.
Yeah.
Lee Steinberg has repped over 300 pro athletes, including 8 #1 overall NFL draft picks, more than any other agent. Represented Patrick Mahomes, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Ben Roethlisberger, and Drew Bledsoe, among many others. Negotiated over $3 billion in contracts throughout his career. Served as an inspiration for the great movie Jerry Maguire, one of the most famous sports movies of all time. Mr. Lee, how are you?
And now the biggest honor of all, being on 4th and 1 with
Yes,
Cam
sir.
Newton.
Perfect. Now, being an agent, right? What's something that people don't expect your job to be?
It's listening skills. It's drawing out another human being until you understand their deepest anxieties and fears and their greatest hopes and dreams. So I need to be able to put myself into the heart and mind of another person and see it from their perspective. It doesn't matter how I feel, but how does Cam Newton feel about short-term economic gain, long-term economic security, family, spiritual values, being a starter, being on a winning team, endorsements, making a difference in the world. And so you have to thoroughly understand that person uniquely. It's how to fulfill them, not some generic player. So listening skills are really key. And then it's, can I encourage someone to be a role model? Will they go back to their high school community, set up a scholarship fund, go to the university, set up a program that gets them close to the alums, and then it's a pro foundation level, set up a charitable foundation that has the leading business figures, political figures, and community leaders on the board. So that's work done, putting the 200 single mother into the first family home they'll ever own by making a down payment. Or Mahomes with his 15 and the Mahomies, which helps kids. So and then it's setting up athletes for second career. It's thinking about, from the very first day, a path for them to get into business and not be the employee, but be the owner. And to get into broadcast or get into coaching or any profession that they choose, but you have to do the planning work before the end of the career, so you're smoothly going. So Troy Aikman goes smoothly from his career into being a lead broadcaster.
So I was just want to ask you, even when we're talking about contract negotiations, what is the wildest contract negotiation you ever been a part of?
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? Ladies and gentlemen, this ain't the itty bitty little teeny tiny bowl. What is it? It's the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Big players make big plays, and now you can cash in on every single one of them. Bet touchdowns at DraftKings Sportsbook and take your shot at winning big. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 4TH. That's code 4TH for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after insurance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
What the craziest one?
There was a competing football league called the USFL way back in the day. And players don't have any real leverage today unless they're free agents. Teams control them. But when you have a new league and you can play the two leagues off against each other, so Steve Young was negotiating with the USFL, and we kept asking for more and more and more and more. And they kept adding things because he didn't want to sign in a new league. And finally it got to $42 million in 1984. Now that would be like $1 billion today. And so it was pretty wild. They endowed scholarship funds for him. They sent him to law school. They did anything you could think of.
So in this realm of NIL, right? From the players as young as high school athletes, there's still agents now that have to learn this dance of representation. How do you go in with the mentality, if I'm an agent, to, it's not always the mature 22-year-old, 24-year-old, now it's as young as a 17-year-old kid. Does that change your whole approach?
It changes everything, Cam, because when NIL developed, no one anticipated that it would be used for high school to college recruiting. No one anticipated it would be the key to transfer portal, right? When you have a player at LSU who commits at quarterback and then all of a sudden he's offered $14 million to go to another school and he decommits, that changes everything. Much harder, from my perspective, to talk to that 15-year-old who's already being marketed and already wants to have deals. As a matter of fact, and it's a brave new world, because if you take someone like Mahomes, I thought it would be a good idea to not do any endorsements his first couple of years, prove himself out on the field, and then do them. Now, that's out the door when someone turns 15. Matter of fact, I think agents are going to go to maternity wards in hospitals looking for, big mothers.
Yeah. So you've represented multiple players over, obviously, your tenure.
50 years.
2 questions. What sport provides the biggest headaches? And answer that one first, and then I'll go to the next one.
Basketball.
Basketball?
Basketball players are brought up not part of a team. They're brought up in AAU basketball. They're focused on when they're like 12 years old. They can already spot a great basketball player.
Yeah.
And a basketball player might call you every single day. A left tackle might call you every couple months if he remembers.
So, even with that, how did you get into the game of being a sports agent?
So I was going to UC Berkeley, Cal, and I was a dorm counselor in an undergraduate dorm. They moved the freshman football team in, and in 1975, the first player picked in the first round of the draft was a quarterback for Atlanta named Steve Bartkowski.
Right.
And he asked me to represent him. And it was the first thing I did after law school. And so we got the largest rookie contract in NFL history. And then I started with this role modeling concept. And like I said, by the end, had done 64 first-round draft picks. And then did baseball and basketball. And we had practices in all the fields. But football, I had 90 players who... and we have 12 in the Hall of Fame who are like Troy Aikman, Steve Young, Warren Moon, Bruce Smith, Derek Thomas, Howie Long, on and on and on.
So I know we got to get you out of here, But first, before we get you out of here, can you tell us a little bit about your foundation? And we hear that you have a Super Bowl party, February 8th this week. So could you tell us about those two things?
So the Concussion Foundation, back in the 1980s, I'm representing half the starting quarterbacks. They keep getting hit in the head.
Yeah.
And we go to doctors and ask, how many's too many? What's the magic number? No answers. So I started holding concussion conferences, and we held the first one in '94, and Warren Moon and Steve Young and Aikman and Drew Bledsoe and all those guys came, and we got neurologists to talk about what it is. So I thought, if I put a charitable foundation together that raises money for research, also serves underserved communities with people who got those problems. The good news is we found 2 ways to rehabilitate a concussed brain. So the thought always was it will go downhill and it only gets worse, right? But now through neuroplasticity, you can do neural feedback, and that can rewire a brain, and you can do something called RTMS, and that will rewire a brain. And so those are big breakthroughs. The party is our 38th.
Okay.
We're almost at 40 years of parties.
Wow.
It's big business, politics, sports, entertainment. We give humanitarian awards to, we're giving one to Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, and one to Sean Payton. We do a brain health summit with people from across the country. We do a brain body lounge for treatments like hyperbaric oxygen, stem cell, red light, blue light. And we're raising money for National Urban League, and we hope to move a family on Saturday into the first home they'll ever own by giving them the money for the down payment and moving them in.
Man, Mr. Lee, man, appreciate your time, appreciate your insight, as well as appreciate your impact to this game.
Sure.
Mr. Lee Steinberg, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.